McKinley, there must be something. You heard it from a kilometre away.
There's no sign of any activity, boss. Is Mr. Hawke sure it was an explosion and like a gun going off or a car backfiring?
He was quite definite. Might pay to drop into his place on the way back to the station.
Hey, Dash!
Boss, I think Adam's found something. I'll get back to you. Timothy! What on earth happened?
They tried to steal my bloody camera. Where's my bloody camera gone?
Don't worry about your camera, mate. Let's get to hospital.
No, stuff the hospital. I want my camera.
Hey,
mate,
hey!
Where's my camera?
Timsy. Come on.
You bastard! No one's gonna stop me!
Hey, Timsy, who's not going to stop you?
No one is gonna stop me! Publish and be damned!
Oh, Timsy, you're going for the wet look, mate.
No, it's nothing. Look, it's nothing. I've got nothing to say. Look, you know, I was hit from behind and they tried to rob me and then Adam and Dash turned up and they just took off, all right?
Without the camera?
Yes, without the camera. Thank God for that. And thank God it didn't get wet either.
So, what was on the film, mate?
Nothing special, just, you know, weddings and CWA cake bake-off and that sort of thing.
I didn't know anyone baked their lamingtons down by the river.
All right, I'm onto something, OK? But that is all I'm going to say.
Big enough to assault you for your camera.
Well, what do you think, Columbo? Yes, all right. It's big, OK? Let's just say that when it goes to print, this story and these photos are going to rock Mount Thomas to its very foundations. Well, hello? Hello? Look, I'm cold and I'm wet and I'm dripping on the floor. Maybe I can get something to warm me up or something, hey?
Oh, sorry, mate. The government's cut right back on our cognac allowance.
Oh, well, ha. Black coffee, hot and strong.
For heaven's sake, McKinley, get the man a coffee and some towels.
Yeah.
Cooper, start taking a statement, will you?
Oh, no, I don't want to say... I'm not saying anything.
Don't you think you should talk to him? I mean, this could be linked to those explosions.
You heard him. He's not talking, Rich, eh?
Nevertheless, it could be important. Oh, for God's sake.
Keith, going to a wedding.
No.
Funeral.
No. I've come to report...
It's a very nice tie, Keith. I'll just
You
straighten
think
that
so?
up.
Elegance the word. It's bordering on cool, Keith.
Looks like Guy Fawkes night, but I took advice on the subject. And talking to Guy Fawkes, someone stole me jelly night.
So, Keith, when did it go missing?
Sometime in the last month or so.
Last month or so?
Well, a bloke doesn't get up every morning, have his steak and eggs, comb his hair and think, oh, I'll go down and camp with jelly night.
You are supposed to keep it secure.
As I do. It's in the back of my junk shed. I don't get up there very often. Anyway, this morning I was standing in the paddock having the foxes. I heard a bit of an explosion down by the river and I thought, oh, better go and count me jelly night because I don't want to see the shed blown sky high sort of thing, as you do.
How much is missing?
Oh, probably half a box.
Half a box?
Well, who's counting?
You should be.
Well, who knew where to look?
It's on big red letters on the box. Beware jelly night. Ray Charles could see it.
Right, well, I'll follow you out there, Keith, and fingerprint, eh?
Righto. I can't hang about that. I'm organising the Mudlarks fundraiser. See you all there, I hope.
Oh, you certainly will.
Yes, well, the boss has been selling tickets all week.
Well done, Tom.
Well done, Tom.
So, do you think there's any connection between this big story of Tony's and the explosion?
Oh, well, Timsy's always blowing everything into mutant proportions.
Oh, he's probably spying on a couple down by the river and turning it into a front-page sex scandal.
Well, that doesn't give us much of a motive for assault and robbery, does it?
I don't know about that. There must be dozens of people in Mount Thomas who'd like to see Tony go for a swim in a brick floaty.
Listen, he could have drowned out there.
Yeah. All right, I'll make some inquiries and find out who's got Tony top of their hit list this week.
I reckon your mate Gordon Forbes would be pretty keen. Did you see what Tony wrote about his new chemical plant? He really sunk the slipper into it.
Oh, they deserve it.
That's all very well, but if Gordon doesn't go ahead with that plant, Mount Thomas is down a lot of jobs.
And the Mudlarks are down a major sponsor.
Yeah, you see, footy teams being sponsored by chemical companies, that's outrageous.
Oh, I don't know. It does have its upsides. I mean, they save in electricity costs. They glow in the dark at night games.
Oh, very funny. McKinley, you and Cooper do something useful and go and have another look down by the river. I want to know what caused that explosion.
Oh, yeah.
Check with the adjoining farm. Somebody might have seen something if they didn't hear it.
All right, if I take Doyle out to Keith's.
I've never seen you so anxious to help Keith out with a problem. What about the Tony Timms matter?
Ah, Timsy, yes, yeah. Nick, mate, would you mind doing that?
Hey? What?
For that, it reeks.
Oh, my God. It's enough to put you off pork for life. G'day. Mrs. Little.
Dash McKinley, isn't it?
Yeah, this is Constable Cooper.
G'day. Why are you out here, Dash?
Actually,
Hi, what's up? You are?
This is my son, Brody.
Somebody's been letting off gelignite down by the river.
Oh, is that what it was? I thought it was a car backfiring or something.
no, you didn't spot anyone at all, did you?
No, I was inside doing the housework at the time.
What about you, Brody?
Oh, don't ask him. He works in town just as well for all the use he is around here.
So what do you do, Brody?
I've got a cadet ship on the Gazette.
With Tony Timms?
Yeah, I assist Tony sometimes.
Got any idea why someone might have wanted to assault him?
I really couldn't say. Got quite a few enemies, though. He used to cover the waterfront up in Melbourne.
Really?
Yeah, but he stepped on too many powerful toes. That's how he ended up here.
You wouldn't have any idea what his big story is, would you?
Can't help you, sorry.
No consideration. Some people robbing an honest citizen.
Just like Fort Knox, eh?
Yeah, I've been meaning to get myself a door. Been meaning to get myself a padlock.
Anything else missing besides the door and padlock?
Me old baby bath. Who'd steal that? My mother used to bathe me in that when I was a kid. Couldn't be more than 3. Piddles, she used to call me. I was small then.
That's lovely,
Jesus.
Keith. Really. But I need a list of anyone who was in here. Casual workers, visitors.
On the odd swaggy.
So, could I have a list?
What are you smiling at?
Nothing.
I suppose if I'd said sundowners, you'd cack yourself.
Well, I have no idea what a sundowner is, sorry, Keith.
Yeah, typically your generation. You all speak American.
Keith, could I have a list?
A sundowner is a swaggy who turns up at sundown so he can get a free feed without having to work for it. These days they call them politicians. Anyway, I'll leave you to it. I've got some fundraising to do.
Speaking of fundraising, we're going to have to go to that thing tonight.
Yep, I've got a hell of a lot of leads to follow
Oh,
up,
well,
too.
you should see the amount of paperwork I've got to catch up on.
So, my place?
Thank you, Doyle. Give me the ball. Heart of gold, girl. PJ?
Oh, yeah.
Come on, $20, Kingsley.
All in the line of duty, boss.
Would you do something about that cough, please, McKinley? I don't want it going through the entire station.
Gelignite detonator found it by the river.
Beauty. I'll get that checked for prints.
Anything else?
Yeah, some footprints. They're pretty jumbled, though.
Oh, and those weird kind of drag marks leading up from the bank.
Any idea what caused those?
Oh, it's a bit hard to tell.
How did you go?
Oh, I had a word with Tony's boss. She doesn't know anything about his big story, but she did give me a list of people who might have reason to want to bash Tony Timms. There you go, half the staff of the Gazette are on there. She reckons they get at least one abusive phone call per edition.
No, he's destined for the big city broadsheets out, Tony, isn't he, eh?
He's already been there. Trod on too many toes, funnily enough.
No, too many long lunches, you mean.
I proudly unveil this magnificent inaugural shield, most generously donated by Forbes Farm Chemical. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now on behalf of the Mighty Mudlarks, I would like to thank Mr. Gordon Forbes, Managing Director of Forbes Farm Chemical.
No, you can forget about that. Morris and Austin are playing. They'll be there all night.
Season, and they are also kicking off tonight's fundraiser with another extremely generous donation. What about a big round of applause for Forbes Farm Chemical?
You see, I don't get that. Why are all these toxic, smelly companies sponsoring major sporting events? It's outrageous.
In a word, Dash, greed. Greed is the word. Listen, you read my article about the new part that Gordon Forbes is building, didn't you?
Sort of.
Yeah. Well, listen, you are the people that are going to have to evacuate this town when that plant has an accident, and it will. You read my...
Few words, Gordon.
Yeah.
Good on you.
Always a pleasure to be of service to the community, and come on, the Mudlarks.
Ladies and gentlemen, the first raffle, presented proudly by Jeannie O'Dwyer, straight from the kitchens of the Imperial Hotel. Thank you, Jeannie. Lovely hat. Is a lovely tray of pork, donated very generously by Little's Pork. Little's Pork, the big pork people. Anybody seen Doris Little? Doris, there you are. I was just taking your name in vain.
Oh, nothing unpleasant, I hope, Tom, for your sake.
You want to grab one
Doris
side of this?
Little and Kate
Look at this, ladies and gentlemen.
engaged to be married.
Well, I wonder if he knows what he's getting himself into.
Well, I'd have guessed an adjoining property with a nice bit of river frontage. Can anyone tell me why, Matt Thomas, the women always get the soup and the chicken and the men always get the entree and the steak?
Oh, it's the law of the hills, Maggie.
No, I just think it's a natural byproduct of human evolution. Doctor.
Actually, he's absolutely right, because the lower that you are down the evolutionary scale, the more protein you need.
Is that right?
Well, I know what I'd go for.
Oh, that was the last one. You'll have to have soup.
No, no worries. That's all right.
Look, Tom, why don't you have mine, eh? No, come on, it's just...
come on, Tony, I couldn't possibly...
Look, fish don't like me, OK?
Not even fish, eh, Tony?
Gee, that looks really fresh.
Oh, go for it.
Have my appearance? Yeah, well, don't forget to visit the Akubra on the way out.
Yeah, sure.
On the bar.
Sure.
Thanks, PJ.
Oh, don't you be long in there. Don't.
God, I think I'm dying. Oh, no. If you do that in there, I'm not cleaning it up.
Just think of it as being like the drunk's tank on a Sunday morning.
Morning.
There you go.
What's the matter with her?
Well, has McKinley taken up drinking, has she?
Are we missing something?
Right. All sick personnel into a vehicle. We're going to try and make it down to the hospital.
Morning. I've got something to... Oh, no. Not you too.
Maybe there are others.
Apparently everyone who ate the fish. Gordon Forbes has been hugging the toilet bowl all night.
You are going to have a serious word with your fish supplier.
Yes, well, it may not be them. I found this underneath the kitchen door this morning.
Death to Forbes Farm Chemicals.
Jenny, this is serious. Somebody could die from this sort of thing.
No one has ever died from food served out of my kitchen.
Jenny, nobody's questioning your hygiene. No. We just need to know if the fish looked or it smelled a little bit different.
Do you think I don't know an off fish when I see one?
Something was definitely off, Jeannie. Now, the question is, did it happen before it got to the kitchen or after?
I bought the fish. They were fresh. I scaled the bloody things. I hauled their guts out. I put up with their googly eyes staring
Jeannie.
at me. I cooked them up and I served them. I worked my backside off for that damn fundraiser. Bloody mudlarks.
Jeannie.
That's the last time I
Jeannie.
do anything for
Jeannie.
that feckless mob.
Now, was there anybody else in the kitchen that shouldn't have been there?
Apart from the proprietor?
Beg your pardon.
Well, you were there standing over
I
me.
left a full bar to come in there and hang your watch.
I know. What about Morris and Austin?
What about Morris and Austin?
Well, they were hanging around outside last night,
Oh,
but...
so now it's their fault, is
Jenny,
it?
I didn't
just
say it was
because
their fault,
occasionally
I was
they
just-
get off their backsides and use some initiative, you lot want to blame them for everything. If you don't mind, I've got work to do.
Jeannie, if you can think of anyone, will you let me know? You might want to take the fish off the menu.
Got everything you came for, Detective Hamilton?
I'll organise the tests and let you know.
So, what do you reckon got up Jeannie's nose?
Oh, I don't know, but she fired up when we mentioned Morris and Austin.
Morris and Austin? Well, I wouldn't put anything past that pair.
Oh, yeah, but the poisoning a room full of people.
That wasn't just a room full of people. That was a room full of mudlarks, Paul.
Yeah, so what?
So, they tried to gatecrash a Best and Fairest presentation a couple of years back. They got sprung and they spent the entire night tied to the goalpost.
What about the night?
Well, it could have been them trying to shift the blame.
Well, I doubt it was them or spelled properly.
We don't even know if it was deliberate yet. Could have been one of those anti-chemical people.
Well, when do we get the tests back?
That'll be sometime tomorrow.
Well, humour me, will you? Check out Morris and Austin. They might just hold a grudge.
They wouldn't be the only ones, would they?
Hey, maybe we should get onto the Gazette. You know those letters to the editor? Find out who's been complaining about the chemical plant and who could have got to the fish.
That'll be yours, Dash. Oh, Mr. Forbes.
Oh, Gordon, how are you?
Morning, Tom. Well, there you are. I was on my way to the hospital anyway. Anti-nausea shot.
Oh, you didn't need to bring these in. We could have come and got them.
The most threatening one's on top. Never ceases to amaze me, you know. There are actually people who think we can do without chemicals.
Would you mind if we hung on to these for a bit?
No, keep them as far as I'm concerned. I mean, you invest in a town, you provide jobs. Sometimes I think I'll just move the whole lot to Indonesia or somewhere.
Oh, by the way, you haven't run into a couple of characters by the name of Morris and Austin, have you?
Oh, the names ring a bell. Oh, yeah, that's right. They had some harebrained scheme for transporting chemicals, wanted a contract. Told them we weren't interested. You don't seriously think that...
No, we're just looking at all possibilities.
Yeah, well, the person I'd be looking at would be that odious little muckraker, Tony Timms.
Oh, you think I'd poison people just to manufacture a story? Come on. What sort of lowlife do you think I am? I did not manufacture the story, all right?
Tone, you made it up before.
When?
Melbourne. Now, your cadet told us you'd worked there. And you made up this... Well, that was a real doozy.
Senior Detective Hasham talked to some of your old colleagues and they gave him all the details.
It's very naughty, Tone. Very, very naughty. No wonder those wolfies wanted you hide.
I'll give Brady a smack in the mouth when I see him.
Oh, yeah, you're just the man to do that, Tony. Why were you so keen to pawn your fish off on me last night?
Manners? I was being polite. Look, I did not know everyone was going to get sick, OK? I have not made anything up here. Look, who was the person who got pushed in the river? Me. Who got hit in the back of the head?
Very
Me.
conveniently, as it turns out. This brouhaha with the chemical factory has suited you right down to the ground, hasn't it?
Just add one mad poisoner and zap, you're on your way back to the big time, eh?
Listen, you don't know how wrong you are, OK?
All right, so you're saying that this big story of yours has nothing to do with Forbes Farm Chemicals.
I am saying that this big story was legitimate.
Was legitimate?
Well, I'm having a few problems just getting confirmation at the moment, OK?
Tom, where's your camera?
What?
Yesterday, you wouldn't let it out of your sight. Where is it?
So there was an order made Monday for delivery Tuesday. Yes, Jeannie O'Dwyer for Chris Riley at the Imperial Hotel.
Probably in a card game.
Well, he's playing this hand very close to his chest. What, no Morris and Austin?
Ah, they've gone to ground, boss.
Why am I not surprised?
Boss, I just spoke to Chris's fish supplier, Mermaid Express. Now, they claim that you placed an order for 35 farm trout on Monday.
What's wrong with that?
Well, you cancelled it on Tuesday.
Jeannie, what's going on?
I got a better deal, didn't I? That Mermaid Express mob are a bunch of daylight robbers.
So what happened to the extra money?
It's back in the cash box where it belongs. You're not accusing me of stealing it.
Well, who's this new fish supplier? Jeannie? Somebody local?
I'm not going to say they were doing me a favour.
What? You got bad fish. It's some favour.
There's nothing wrong with that fish.
Well, then there's no reason why you can't tell us where it came from.
Jeannie, we can charge you with hindering police. You know that. All right. What do you know about this?
All right. I did it. In between cutting up fish and poisoning them, I hacked out the letters from the Gazette, clagged it onto this bit of paper, and cobbled up a little ditty for you. You quite finished?
Jeannie.
That went well.
Well, she's lucky she's not going to get charged for being a smart-ass. If I don't find out where that fish came from by the end of the day, she will be.
Oh, don't worry. I'll get it out of her.
You might want to check your cash box too, Chris.
No, she wouldn't steal.
She admits going to a new supplier to save cash.
She would not steal.
Chris, did she need any extra money for anything special lately?
Not that I know. She did just ask for a pay rise.
Oh, did she get it?
Of course not.
Is she a Mudlark supporter, is she?
Not since they turfed her grandson out of the under-12s for selling homemade beer to the team.
Poison her.
It's hardly reason to go to this extreme.
Well, it's not what you call strong motivation, though, is it? What happened to her grandson all those years ago?
Well, it's much more likely that she was diddling Chris than this poisoning business comes along and she gets caught out.
It's out. Jeannie has never diddled anyone in her life.
Well, you can't say that about everybody, can you? We've got the prints back in the gelignite chest. Morris and Austin.
I thought they were up to something.
Nothing discernible on the detonator, so you'll have trouble proving it.
Well, boss, it'd help if Keith could place him at the farm.
All right, you and McKinley. You both look like you'd use some fresh air.
Oh, Morris and Austin. Yeah.
Keith, have they been anywhere near your shed?
Well,
Right. Having a chat to Hansel and Gretel, are you? Always keep a couple for ourselves. Keith likes his egg and bacon for brekkie, don't you, love?
Oh, nothing like a bit of free-range bacon first thing in the morning, eh, love?
Oh, Mrs. Little, I knew that pigs were smelly, but they always this bad.
They're clean enough. It's just we feed 'em up for market.
Yeah, and what goes in must come out straight down the dam, you know. Spread it all out. It's a little bit of a drainage problem.
Keith.
What?
Morris and Austin.
Morris? Oh, yeah, my gelignite. Yeah, they were down at my place, cleaning out the shed.
Cleaning it out.
I wonder what Morris and Austin were planning to do with all that gelignite.
Oh, God, I don't know. Probably some crazy new business venture of theirs, you know.
There you go.
Go ahead, boss.
Proceed to the Imperial Hotel. The chef is threatening 2 patrons with a
Oh, I
fry
wonder
pan.
who. Receive that.
Oh, come on. Stands to reason it about prints on it, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, we sat on that chest and ate lunch and had a smoke.
You sat on a chest of gelignite near some drums of fuel and you had a smoke?
Well, there weren't any no smoking signs around.
Morris, that little bird told me that you and Austin were down by the river yesterday morning.
Yeah? What little bird?
What I want to know is what you were doing down there.
Fishing.
Fishing?
Yeah. With rods.
35 trout and all with rods.
Yeah. Well, we were reeling them in. It must have been on account of the heavy rains last week, but they were practically jumping out of the river at us. How'd you know we caught 35?
Austin tells me that you sold 35 trout to Jeannie for the Mudlarks fundraiser last night.
Yeah? So?
I saw you there last night. You didn't have a meal. Any reason for that?
I wasn't going to waste $20 on that lousy pack of bastards, was I?
Is that right? Well, I thought it was just because you didn't like fish.
No. I like fish. Yeah, fish are all right.
Of course we didn't leave the note. I mean, we were only there for a couple of games of pool.
No, I suppose you didn't poison the fish either.
No way. No way. They were fine. A bit bruised, maybe, but, you know.
How'd you go with Dumb and Dumber?
Well, they admit to supplying the fish for the fundraiser, but that's about all I can get out of them.
Well, what about the gelignite?
What gelignite?
Well, the poisoning.
Well, no motive. Look, we can get them on the gelignite eventually, but they're not looking good as our saboteurs.
No, mate, they're more your entrepreneurs.
Thank you.
Poisoning the customers isn't good business.
Bye. Boss, intruder at Forbes Chemicals.
Stop him!
Wait! Wait! Right, no, stand back. You stand against the wall, thank you, sir.
Oh, BJ. How are you?
Thanks. Can't be too careful. That was Tony Timms.
What happened?
Oh, came in. Heard someone ferreting about in the office. Timms tried to leave. I stopped him. The girl at reception heard the kerfuffle and called you.
You know what he was after?
Oh, snooping for info on this new plant of mine, that's my guess. I want him charged, Tom.
Oh, Tony's keen. I've never known him to resort to burglary, though.
Small-time journos. Do anything for a story. Well, he won't find anything in my filing cabinets.
Well, you may as well turn it off. I've got nothing further to tell you.
Well, you haven't told us anything yet.
That is my prerogative, is it not?
Yes, it is our prerogative to charge you with burglary.
Oh, come on, burglary, PJ, please. Look, Forbes is the one who should...
Come on, Tony. What were you after?
I was just looking around, PJ.
Why?
Well, you're going to find out, aren't you? Mount Thomas Gazette. Watch this space.
I don't think so.
Just look at it. Tony Timms gets bashed at the river by someone who's seen him taking photos, and then a whole bunch of people get sick after eating trout from that river.
Next thing we know, Tony Timms gets caught snooping around Gordon's factory.
Just a second, let me make sure I understand exactly what you're saying. Gordon Forbes, prominent businessman, past local councillor...
Mudlark's major sponsor.
And Mudlark's major sponsor, thank you very much, is dumping chemicals in the river.
Ta-da!
Ridiculous.
You know, let's just wait till we get the test results from the fish.
Listen, if it was pollution, surely there'd be other cases.
Well, it could be recent. It could be localised. You know, that part of the river is pretty remote. Anybody could have dumped a trailer load or two of agricultural chemicals and got away with it. Yeah, except Tony Timms gets a tip-off.
And Morris and Austin turn up with 35 fresh trout.
Tony gives you his fish. Why? And then when everyone gets sick, Tony keeps his trap shut because he doesn't want to blow his exclusive.
Now, that I can believe.
This is all just guesswork.
It is very good guesswork.
What you need is cold, hard facts before you start throwing accusations around about a man like Gordon Forbes.
Well, you're not going to get anything out of Tony, even if he had facts.
Well, boss, why don't I get onto the EPA and ask them to test the water for chemical pollution?
All right, Cooper, if that'll make you happy, but what you really need is another witness.
Well, there are a few farms adjoining that river. Why don't I get out there and ask them and get some statements?
Are you volunteering?
Why not?
Well, there's a first.
I'll go with her.
I haven't seen anything. What's this all about, anyway? Anything a cadet journalist should know about?
Oh, well, we can't really say at this stage.
Can't reveal your sources. Good. Yeah, I learnt that one from Tony.
Rhodey, what the hell are you doing?
Fixing the tractor.
I told you to keep away from that machine. We don't want bits falling off it.
I thought you wanted me to work around the farm.
You made your choice, you can stick to it. Keith's going to take a look at the tractor.
So I will, my love, but not today. I've got an appointment in town.
An appointment at the Imperial, by any chance?
A business appointment, my darling.
Mum, Dash and Sergeant Schultz want to know if we've seen anyone dumping stuff in the river.
What kind of stuff?
Oh, you know, the usual sort of stuff. Household rubbish, farm waste, the odd drum of agricultural chemicals.
Haven't seen anything. What about you, Keith?
No, can't help you. But I am spending a lot more time out here now. I'll keep an eye out. Can't have anybody fouling up our bit of the river now, can we, darling?
Oregano what?
Phosphate, organophosphate. It's a pesticide.
As in chemical pesticide?
Right. And those fish were absolutely full of it.
Organophosphate?
It's been around for a while. Came in to replace some other nasty stuff. It's a mystery how it got into those fish, though.
Oh, we think it's in the river, Zoe.
Oh, it'd have to be pretty concentrated to make people ill.
But it just doesn't make sense. I mean, why didn't the fish die?
Hey, I'm a doctor, not a zoologist. Have a nice day.
See, Zoe? Yeah, I think Tony Timms might be on to
All right,
something.
you get on to him, Maggie. I'm going to have him on toast for this.
Oh, boss, what about Gordon Forbes?
Let's just see what the EPA's got
Cooper,
first.
you get on to Nick and Dash. Tell them to get down to the river. Have a chat to the EPA people. I'll be down there in a minute, OK?
Yeah, Tony
Mount Thomas
Timms,
Station
please.
to VKC.
Looks like Timsy was right.
Hey, PJ, guess what?
If you tell me that Tony Timms was right, I'll rip your head off. So, organophosphate pesticide?
Well, the EPA won't know for sure until they've carried out tests on the contents, but the general feeling is it's got to be.
Apparently there are a dozen or so drums still down there. Luckily they're intact.
Well, they're pretty new. If they would have been here any length of time, they would have rusted away and we would have had a problem.
Well, so why have we got a problem now?
Because somewhere down there, there's drums damaged by gelignite.
Morris and Austin, you reckon?
Oh, Brady!
Thought you were onto something big when you left our place in a cloud of dust. Never thought it was this big.
Mate, you're doing all right for yourself. From funeral notices to front page bylines.
Yeah, but Tony might string you up if you pinch his story.
So this is what Tony was onto? I had no idea, honest.
I got a tip off a few weeks ago. I went down to the river. I saw Gordon Forbes dumping these drums in the river.
You saw somebody dumping toxic material in a river that serves 20,000 people.
No one got sick until after the fundraiser, OK? I mean, well, it is not going to be much of a story without photographs. And the photographs, unfortunately, are no longer in my possession.
Well, whose possession are they in?
Gordon Forbes.
And how did he get his hands on them?
Because he stole my camera.
When was this?
Well, I assume it was last night at the fundraiser. I mean, it must have been. He was there, I was there. I took the camera along to, you know, I took a few shots to finish off that roll of film. I was in a process.
So when did you know that your camera was gone?
First thing, got up, bang, no camera.
I didn't bash him, and I don't have his cameras.
Well, Mr. Timms is certain it was you, sir.
Look, I admit there have been times I would have liked to ram his teeth down his throat, but...
Right, well, would you mind if we took a look inside your office then?
Yeah, I would, actually. Not that I'm hiding anything, Tom. I don't have Tim's camera, but I have to say I object to the intrusion. I draw the line on principle.
Sure, then we'll get a warrant.
Fine. And you can turn that thing off now and finish talking.
Just one other thing, Gordon. We found your drums.
What drums?
The ones Tony took photos of you dumping in the river.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Well, the EPA are testing the contents. I'm sure they'll find organophosphate inside of them. Poisoned 35 people.
Organophosphate? Is that right?
Mr. Forbes, for the record, did you dump drums of organophosphate in the river?
No, I did not. I didn't dump anything. And seeing as Timms has lost his camera, sounds to me like it's his word against mine.
Your waste disposal records are being checked as we speak, sir. If there's any discrepancy, I'm sure it will be found.
So this must mean the Muddlarks will lose Forbes' sponsorship.
They've done without him before. I'm sure they'll manage again.
This warrant is a waste of time. If Forbes had stolen the camera, he would have destroyed it by now, along with the film.
Look, PJ, I know it's going to be very hard for you, but don't you think we owe it to Tom to at least take a look for it?
All right.
Hey, Chris, how you going?
Hi. Listen, I've just done the books, and the money that Jeannie saved from the fish is in the cash box.
So she's off the hook. That's wonderful news.
Yeah, and you can bet she'll never let us forget about this whole thing.
Well, why didn't Jeannie just tell us she bought the fish from Morrison?
Who'd want to admit to being that stupid?
Well, I'm sure she's very relieved anyway.
No, she's threatening to go somewhere where she's trusted. I've got half a mind to let her.
You'd be lost without it, Chris. No one does poison fish like Jeannie.
True.
All right, thanks for that. All right, that was the EPA.
Have they finished with Forbes yet?
But they're still checking out his files, but they got the test results of the stuff they hauled out of the river.
Organophosphate, right?
No, something else.
So the stuff from Forbes's drums didn't give us food poisoning?
That's a brilliant piece of police work there, Dad.
Yeah, well, it was organophosphate that poisoned us, so where did it come from?
Well, we'd better find out, and fast, because there is still a potentially lethal chemical seeping into our waterways.
All right, we better get the show to put out an alert. Organophosphate pollution, source unknown. You do that, Cooper.
Yep, no problem.
Mick, you and Dash had better do the rounds of the farms in the area again. See if any of them have been using this organophosphate.
Right. Then what do they say about Gordon Forbes?
The stuff he was dumping is called organomercury compound.
Organomercury, organophosphate. Don't you love the way the chemical companies make these things sound so natural?
Listen. Organomercury poisoning can cause anything from neurological disease to death.
So those drums would contaminate the river?
Well, apparently they're all still sealed. And luckily, Morris and Austin managed to miss them when they were blasting.
Well, only those boys could miss a river full of drums with half a case of gelignite.
Could you explain to me why Forbes would only dump half the chemical waste legally, or why dump it
Money,
at all?
because it costs so much per kilo to dump in designated landfills.
Yeah, well, he's going to be paying for it now. 250 grand in fines and up to 5 years jail.
So it's official. I'd like to send a new sponsor.
I think this town's got more to worry about at the moment than that, don't you?
I don't use pesticides, Sergeant Schultz. I'm a pig farmer. Always been environmentally friendly.
Well, not according to my nose, Mrs. Little.
Well, thank you, Mrs. Little, for letting us have a look around.
Always happy to oblige the law. Don't forget Tom's sausages.
Good on you.
Keith! I thought you didn't have time to do that today.
Love has a way of making you rethink your priorities. Hey, McKinley, do us a favour. Get us a big shifter out of the toolbox, would you? Thanks, mate. You got it?
No, Keith, I haven't got your shifter. I've got something a lot more interesting.
Well, the EPA's had a busy day today, Mrs. Little. Yes, they've been checking out your farm.
Oh, and we checked with the council too. Seems when you applied to expand your piggery in '95, you were supposed to update the waste disposal system.
Oh, I had good intentions. I just never got around to it.
It's all going to that dam, eh? All that smelly, lovely pork effluent, that nasty bacteria swimming around. It's fine till it overflowed.
Well, that was a once-off. You know, that heavy rain we had a couple of weeks back?
And where do you think that overflow would go, Constable?
Well, considering the location, straight into the river. Probably just about where Morris and Austin caught that fish for the fundraiser.
Hang on. You can't pin that on me. That was pesticide pollution.
Well, you didn't know about that till we told you. You must have been sweating on it.
Must have been a nightmare come true when all those people got sick after the fundraiser.
Yeah, and there's Tony Timms poking around with his camera. Oh, you must have thought he was onto you.
No.
No? So, you spotted him taking photos, you bashed him, you tried to take his camera then. When that didn't work, you went to the Imperial and you tried to take it there.
You wouldn't know pig poo if you stepped in it.
Now, what about your son, Mrs. Little? Do you reckon he's going to protect you?
Why don't you ask him?
Oh, don't worry, we will. But you see, at the moment, he's at a baby show.
That'd be right. I tell you what. You think you've got enough to charge me? Charge me. Otherwise, I'm going home.
There was nothing we could charge you with? Theft? Assault?
We can't place it down the river with Tony. There was no prints on the camera. At least 2 other people had access to that toolbox.
I know.
Yeah.
Keith and that son of hers.
Exactly.
That's the editor from the Gazette. Now, Doris Little must have gone to the paper after she left here because she's gone and given Brody a real bollocking and she's screaming at him and said she doesn't want to see him again.
So where is he now?
Well, the editor doesn't know. He's taken off somewhere.
And we still haven't spoken to him.
Do you know, I find it hard to believe that Doris would assault Tony.
You kidding? That woman's as rough as guts.
Well, the good thing about all this is that Doris is hardly likely to keep her permit after this.
Well, the EPA won't be that hard on her. I mean, it's her first offence.
Come on, Cooper. With the pollution problems we've had in Mount Thomas lately, the EPA are hardly likely to be lenient, are they?
Mrs. Little, if you'd just calm down.
Now, come on, lad. Don't be silly.
Get away from me, you stupid old bastard!
Stop it! Help! Something's happened to Brody!
All right, just stay here, Mrs. Little.
Stop him!
Stay back here.
Brody! Stop it!
Oh, what's wrong, Mum?
Brody!
Scared I'm going to ruin your precious little farm, huh?
Scared you'll hurt yourself!
Oh, yeah, that's right, that's right. You'd be frightened of that because I'm stupid, I am, aren't I, eh? Stubborn, clumsy.
Come
I
on, mate,
didn't
just
mean
calm
that.
yourself
Yeah,
down.
well, look who's
Calm
stupid
yourself
now, Mother.
down. Put it
Leaving
down.
an axe around for a slow-witted son to destroy
No one's
everything.
called you slow-witted. Mate, don't be doing that. That's not going to do you any good, son.
I know, it's making her sit up and take notice, isn't it?
So is that what you want? You just want your mum to take some notice? Is that why you hit Tony? Is that why you stole his camera? Because you thought he was taking pictures of your mum's dam. And you just wanted to help her, didn't you?
I just wanted to show her that I wasn't as useless as she always said I was. Hey, you always said I'd ruin the farm, didn't you, Mum? Guess you were right.
Come on.
Come on, Zoran.
You all right, are you? Come on.
I was going to give Tony his camera back. It's a good bloke, Tony. Really helped me out a lot.
But you bashed him.
Had to. Had no choice. It was him or Mum.
Well, Mate, you're very good to your mum. Why?
She's my mum.
Yes, I know, but she doesn't necessarily feel the same way, does she? I mean, especially since she started working at the Gazette.
50 other kids I beat for that cadetship. I thought Mum would be proud. Could never do what Dad did around the farm, but I thought this job would make her real proud.
Brodie, what about the threat note?
Yeah, that was me. I just took advantage of all the greenie protesters around town.
To divert us away from your mother's pollution?
Yeah.
But you were going to tell your mum, weren't you?
I was waiting my chance. Keith Purvis hanging around all the time. She hardly gave me a look in.
Do you know when I told my family that I was going to leave the farm and become a copper? They thought I was mad. But it was all right because they came round in the end.
Yeah. Well, you were lucky.
Oh, look on the bright side, Brodie. A court appearance will make for good journalistic research.
Good luck.
Research my backside. It's all these high-flying, fancy ideas of yours that got you into this mess.
Oh, come on, Doris, love. Don't you think you're being a bit hard on the boy?
When I want your advice, my love, I'll ask for it. Come on, Brodie.
I thought you didn't want me on the farm.
Never mind what you thought. It's time you did a bit of hard yakka instead of wafting around the place like you're too good to get dirt on your hands. Come on, son.
McKinley, you got that list of farmers who use organophosphate pesticides?
Did you say organophosphate? There you go. Organophosphate. I used it to keep the bloody locusts off my oats. Magic stuff. I used to mix it in the baby bath.
Now, is that the same baby bath that went missing with the gelignite?
That's the one.
Now, Keith, would this baby bath be a good container to carry sticks of gelignite in?
Yeah.
I know you consider yourself to be a great Mount Thomas angler, Morris, but have I got an angle for you and your mates to consider? So you've brought the gelignite to the river in the baby bath, right? But the bath is empty because the jelly's all used up. And you've got a pile of stunned river trout. Now, question. How do you get the stunned river trout back to the Imperial?
Yeah, it's out the back. I was thinking of growing herbs in it. It's a good size for a planter. It was just another way I thought of to save you money to earn myself that raise.
Oh, they're dead.
So you're saying that chemical cocktail sauce which covered our fish was courtesy of Keith Purvis?
The very finest Mount Thomas trout glazed with organophosphate pesticide. And tossed together with an effluent fermented overflow and then creamed with his...
Shut up. Marinated in baby bath, don't forget, a most important step in the preparation.
Hello, all.
Tony, come to pick up your camera, mate.
I have, PJ, thank you.
Don't tease him.
Is there a problem?
Well, actually there is, Tony. You see, we have to hang on this for a bit. It's evidence, charges have been
Oh,
laid.
you're kidding. All right, let me just roll the film off.
Sorry, Tony. The film? It's evidence.
No, PJ.
Sorry, mate.
Well, help us. I don't know. Those jokers will take me baby bath.
Perhaps in future you should keep your chemicals somewhere safer.
You're right, and I've been thinking about that. As a matter of fact, I think I've got the very place. I got this old feed trough. I've been wondering what to do with it, and I could... That's not what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about Doris.
Doris?
Yeah, I know this pollution thing is not strictly a police matter, but I believe Doris will have a few fines forthcoming.
Well, she did behave rather irresponsibly.
How big might these fines be?
Right, so they could range from large to enormous, but don't quote me.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, yes. I'm worried about my stock. I wouldn't want my beast drinking polluted water, you see, and if Doris and me got married and our properties was conjoined, so to speak, then...
Well, marriage is a very serious decision, Keith. I mean, there are all sorts of factors to take into consideration, aren't there?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. A bloke could get quarantined. I mean, these days, with people jumping up and down about a few mad cows and that sort of thing, I mean, there's no telling where it might end. And there's Brodie, the way she henpecks him. I mean, it gets a bloke thinking.
I don't think I can comment on this, Keith.
Right. Thanks, Tom. Nice to have this little chat with you. I take your advice and break it off.
Hang on a minute, I didn't give you any advice, Keith. Keith! Don't ask.
Have you seen this morning's headlines?
How the hell did that happen?
Well, look at this. Timsy finally got his exclusive, eh?
You know, what I want to know is how he got his role of film back.
No idea.
No idea.
No, I haven't. It'll remain one of life's eternal mysteries.
Hello, you two. Don't normally see you in here this time of the day.
No. Well, we normally don't get a chance to come in. Came in for the lunchtime special, didn't we?
Yes, and I take it that everything in the kitchen department sorted out?
Yes, a financial inducement.
Jeannie got her raise. You are such a softie.
It was just the cheapest way to keep her quiet.
Lunchtime special.
Great.
Fish.
Jeannie!
Fingers. Try dusting those for Prince, smartass.